Hey, what's up everyone? AlphaFinx is here, and I got a little deck tech for you guys. If you guys are wondering, what to do with the Pack Instinct deck here, maybe you're starting out with it, or you want to see what somebody else runs in it. Well, here you go. This is what I've been using. Originally, I started out with I just want to get big creatures in play, and then I was like, hey, this deck kind of wins a lot, so I kind of toned it down a little bit to exactly what I wanted, and now I got it. So we have the basic setup right here, and I'll show you the cards I put in. So let's just start off in the beginning with Primal Bellow. Alright, so this card, it's a nice card. You're going to get a lot of forest in play with this. So, giving your creatures +1/+1 is a nice little thing, so I'd toss it in. There we go, right here. This card's like a prey every turn, Like, you need this card if you're running the green deck because there's not enough removal. And your only way besides this is to prey upon, so, we'll toss that in there. Garruk's Companion. Now, I think there's already two in this deck here. Let me just check real. Yeah, so I only want two of these. If you're doing a aggro deck, you'll put in you'll put in all four, but I'm doing a ramp deck, so I only need two. The Hydra is an awesome card. There's like the red deck. You put that in and you just beat the red deck, right? The Vine Lasher Kudzo, it's too slow. It's 2 mana that gets +1/+1 every turn, maybe with the mana, but it just takes too long to get going, and so I don't need it in this deck. Blanchwood Armor is nice, for every forest, but I already have one in my deck, don't need it. Put in the Cultivates, of course, to ramp up. Dungrove Velter is nice. You play a Cultivate and a Dungrove Velter, and you get enough mana in there, and it's hard to deal with, Leatherback Ballast, I love that card. You just throw in all three of those. Chameleon Colossus, this card, think about it. It goes from 4/4, you have 4 more mana, goes to 8/8. You have 4 more mana, goes to a 16/16. So that's pretty powerful, and if you got enough creatures on the board, you can attack with this. It also shuts down black decks because that has protection from a black, and it's a wolf too, so you could use it with that Master of the Hunt guy or whatever his name is. This card, I don't really use this one. It's no good in a ramp deck. It's good in the aggro deck, but it just dies too quickly. With only the 2 health, it just dies. So I don't really need it in this deck, and I'm not going to have a million creatures in play usually. Genome Tunes is useless. Master of the Wild Hunt, I love this card. It's a lot of fun. You get a 2/2 creature every turn, and then turn him into like little attackers, so you can pick off his little dudes that are giving you trouble, or his flyers. That's what I use it for. Obstinate Baloth it's kind of 4 mana for 4/4, and you gain 4 life is nice. Just in my deck when I've been playing, play testing this, it just hasn't been what I wanted it to be. And I'm not gonna discard it. There's nothing that does that, so I'm leaving it out. The Larva, look at that picture. It was a weird picture, but it's 4 mana for a 2/2, and you can only use it when it attacks because that's when it gets pumped, but I just never use it, and it just kept sucking for me, so I just don't want to put that in. The Invoker, it's cool. Target creature gets +5/+5 and gains trample until end of turn, but not good for my deck. And Queen. Now, I had originally 2 of these in there, now I just run 1 of them. But it's good when you have a guy playing Goblins or Peacekeepers, you need to pump out some guys that can take out his 1/1s or 2/2s. So I like having that in there. Garruk's Pack Leader. Now this one, it's 5 mana for a 4/4, and it has a little special ability there, but I found out when I played this card, like my deck would be too slow and I'd be dying before I get to my like power 7 cards anyway. So I ended up taking all these cards out. Now I don't know, maybe you guys run it differently, but that's what happens with me. Incremental Growth. Why would I want to put, I don't hate these cards where it's like relies on you having 3 creatures in play. Like what am I going to put +1/+1 counters on their creature, like get out of here. I don't want that. Predatory Rampage. This one's, they try to do like an overrun here, but it has, they don't give you trample, but all his guys have to block, so you could, wipe out his board with this. But I just, in practice, it just wasn't helping me out as much as I'd rather have an overrun in there, and instead of this, I'd rather have a big creature, so, like a Vorapede, I'd rather have this for 5 mana, so look at that, that's going in. It's just an awesome card. Epic Proportions, I never really use this card. I don't know, it might work, but I just don't like it when your creature can die from, like a little removal spell, because there's a lot of it in this format. So I hate spending 6 mana to have my creature die and then losing 2 cards off of it. Primal Crux is kind of, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's like, what am I doing with this card? And it just kind of, I don't know, like I like some other stuff that I can do some little tricks with. Like Titan. I love this card. Every time I get this card in my opening hand, just boom, I just keep that hand. I don't even care if I don't have any mana. I just keep the hand because I just love this card. It's a lot of fun to play. And it gets those forests out of your deck and into play so that you can use them, right? In this deck, the whole advantage is getting all these forests into play. Like this. You get a Rampaging Balance in, right? And then you use the Primeval Titan, right? So look at that. You start getting a 4/4 and a 4/4 creature in every turn you attack with that guy. So that's a huge advantage right there. So then going with that whole like the mana acceleration, help out your other dudes. Look at Avenger of Zendikar, right? You use that with the Titan. It's another great card, This one, they kill this real fast when you get into play. They do not like you having this. I usually play it as soon as I get 7 mana, though, to get the 7/1/1s, 0/1s, I mean. And you can use it with Boundless Realms, too. And get the 7 more mana. It gets +7/+7 for each of your dudes. So, yeah, just throw that in there. It's a lot of fun to play around with that little tricks. Green Tricks deck here, I don't know. Boundless Realms, originally I was like, this card's garbage, I'll never use it. And then now I'm like, this card's sick. You know, it takes out 7 cards out of my deck, puts them into play. And it pumps up my other dudes, or I mean, a million ways you can use that. Hell of Night Pack. I win every time I play it. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. So there's actually one in the deck already, but I just love this card, so I'm going to throw 2 in. Biorhythm. This card I had, you know, somebody play against me, and it's like, you try and use it, and if they have 1 creature, you can kill their 1 creature, and then it's like a draw or they lose, and I just don't like it. And it's so much mana, like, it's 8 mana. I'd rather just win the old-fashioned way, or just some big old beatdown, you know? So I don't put that in there. Now there's another Hydra. You know, this is one I was going in and out with the deck and changing it up, but right now it's not in. That's one, if you want to play like that way, you can get this card in there. And Verdant Force. Now this is the old school Magic card here, and I like this card because I like putting little dudes into play, the little 1/1 creatures. So I play this dude, and I just let him, you know, every upkeep, your and your opponent, so you keep getting like 2 1/1 guys there, you know. So throw him in there. Now this deck, you know, the way it runs, it has some problems with the Peacekeepers or the Goblins deck early on. If you don't have a good hand, you can run into some trouble with that. But other than that, I mean, when you start getting out these huge dudes, let me get the fog out of here. I'm going to go through and take out the stuff now that I don't like. The Bellow, no. I can't have 2 of these cards, you know, like for this deck to work, I need to, you know, it's cool to have 1 of these. I can't do 2 because it's just too many cards. I have to narrow it down. So I'm like, 1, I could win me the game, you know, early on. I'll leave in the 1 card, you know. Guy, of course, stays in. Lightning Greaves, I love that one, too. That's, of course, in. Hydras are in still. Blanchwood Armor. So, this, originally I didn't have that in there. I'll throw that in, though. Now, the boards are just useless. I don't know why anybody sacrifice you gain 4 life, but it's 3 mana. Just kind of dumb. I don't want it. Cultivate's in there. Where's the new guy? Here we go. So this, the Larva, and then the Hunt Beast. Now the Hunt Beast, 4 mana for 3/3. Yeah, it's hexproof, but when I've run this card, I would just lose games because it's too slow. It's not really doing anything I want to do. And, you know, I get so many creatures out that they can kill as many as they want. I still get more guys out, you know, and then I'll get a Howl Pack or whatever out. And, you know, I just don't need this card in my deck right now. Maybe if you're trying to do, like, the aggro deck, you could use it, but and ramping up here, I don't want it. I just want to get my big creatures out, you know. And I'd rather play that Leatherback guy anyway. So I'm going to take both of those out. And then the Larva, I told you guys before why I don't really like this one. You know, it doesn't have Trample. I mean, if it had Trample, it'd be just win the game for you. But it doesn't. I don't want it. There's no card that can give it Trample here, except for the one other creature. But it's too much work, you know. So I'll get him out. Look at that. And they start with 3 of these cards in the deck. So I don't want it. And it's got an ugly picture. This was the one card, you know, that could help it out, but still, it's 8 mana, Invoker. It just doesn't do enough. Even though it has a nice ability, it's 8 mana, so I gotta take it out. I gotta stay alive here, you know, you can't just run anything. Why would you have this in your deck? Gain 1 life, so you gain, like, what 10 life, and then what? You still lose the next turn, you know? Like, I hate cards like this. The Pack Leader, I used to keep that in, but can't do it anymore. I'll take them both out. And this card, originally I just ran all of them, and now, you know, I narrowed it down to only 2 because you need these cards. There's a lot of enchantments that can really destroy you, so you need some of them in there, but I just figured 3 was too much. And also with the spider, like originally I didn't want any of these spiders, and I was like, I have no way to kill a flying creature, so I actually had to throw these back in there because you can't rely on the prey opponents to kill all their flyers. So I'll leave 2 of those in there for defense, really. And then, you know, what do we got? Primal Crux in here. This card I'm not feeling it right now, so it's out of the deck. These cards are all these top level cards here. It's like 6 to 8 mana. You can really throw in, throw out just based on, you know, how you feel. So I kind of like the way I have it set up. You know, I can do some tricks there with the different land and stuff. But the one thing, you know, I kind of come down to I have so many guys here for 7 mana. There's 5 cards, so I'm going to draw like 1 of them each game, you know. And then I have this guy, Terra Stomper, and the Rampaging Balance. Now this is I kind of go back and forth between these 2. Right now, I don't feel a Terra Stomper. You know, I'd rather get a card that I can make 4/4 creatures every turn. You know, just use that with the Primeval Titan right here. So I think I'm gonna take out this Terra Stomper here, and that's how I'm running the deck now. You know, I kind of mix it up depending. It depends on what decks you're playing against, really, because certain ways. That's why you have to keep evolving the deck. Don't just let it just sit there and be like, okay, this is how I run it. It's perfect. Well, that's not going to work, because when people stop, you know, if everybody played the mill deck, I'd have to play decks differently. You know, I couldn't play the same deck every time the same way. So there you go, guys. You have a little bit of trouble with the goblins and the peacekeepers with this, you know, but usually if you can hold on in the beginning, early on, get out of a Baloth or something, you know, you're pretty good. You can also add in some cards like the Ant Queen, you know, like to make the little 1/1 dudes. What other cards? You could add this in, take one of your guys out. Just kind of trading guys here. Not really changing the structure of the deck. Oh, and then this Genesis Wave, I just don't like this guy, because it's like, what am I going to pay? Like 4 mana and then 3 mana, so it's 7 total, and then I might get some cards, I might not. It's too much work. I don't want to use that. And I hate those artifacts. So they're always out. I never like them. So there you go, guys. There's the Big Green from the Pack Instant deck. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this DeckTech video. Maybe you learned something. You know, maybe it helped you out a little bit. I hope so. But I got to go hop into some multiplayer matches now and, you know, pwn some noobs. So if you want to see me pwning some noobs, click some of the links on your screen. You'll see me using this Big Green deck in matchmaking. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'm AlphaFinx, and I'm out.